Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtual Vines. Dan Mackey from The Loaded Grape, TC Frazier from Tryon Distributing, and we have a fun show in store for you tonight. We're talking about Bourbon Barrel wines. Actually, we have a Scotch wine in here as well. So it is a hot, trendy thing, especially for this time of year as we're starting to get cooler weather. And I'm telling you right now, I am so excited about our lineup because having just did a little taste of some of these, I'm just to make sure everything's okay, right? Just make sure we had everything okay. I am telling you, you're going to love these wines. Let's do, as people are tuning in, let's do a little bit of housekeeping here. One, I want to let everybody know that if you want to get your comments up on the screen, if you go to StreamYard, we look forward to having your comments throughout the show, whether it's a wine. I know a couple of these we had in the wine club, so know that you might have had them, and therefore you might want to give some shout outs to them, or you may have also be enjoying them right now because you had them in your collection today. So a lot of fun stuff we got here. I am going to bring this up and add that to stream right there. Put that background right there. And so one of the, see, I got everything working here. TC,
you guys can't see behind the scenes.
I tell you, man, I got things working tonight. I'm so excited. I mean, the professional lighting, the mic's working, everything's going great. One of the things I wanted to talk about is, in particular, is our Hats Off to You program. This is the last month. This is it. By November 30th, we're going to end this promotion. We'll start the next one. So this promotion right here, specifically 24 bottles, and was started all the way back, hard to believe this, in August.
Yeah.
A lot of people have already gotten hats. I know a lot of people are really close. And with Thanksgiving coming up and the holidays coming up, it was a good time to add some extra bottles and get your free Loaded Grape hat. I mean, these hats are really cool. Also, in the housekeeping things to talk about is our upcoming Thanksgiving wine and beer pairing. This is by far one of the coolest dinners that you can go to, because again, you get to taste wine and beer. And
this is the birds of a feather. I mean, you have your family that you get together, and then we all have, some family that maybe drinks one bottle of wine a year, and you get, when you're cracking open bottle two, they're just like, well, that's Uncle TC for you. But hey, this is birds of a feather. Lots of great food, fun times. I think this beer wine thing is kind of taking a life of its own, and I think the Thanksgiving is like the coup de grace or the cherry on the cake. Obviously, we would have done more barring a pandemic, but hopefully 2021 will be different. Well, I think one a quarter-ish or something like that, but obviously stay tuned. But the Thanksgiving is one that not only sells out, but we're going to do two, I think. Because
we're doing two, because we are almost sold out of the first one. So 4 spots left on the 12th. We got 16 spots left on the 19th. So get in there. TC, Andy will be there as well at one of the dinners. So get in there, and Vanna will be there as well. Vanna Vines. Interesting thing right here. We got Vanna Vines. We got Vanna Vines. I know. It's so far away. She's on the show. We got her. We got her on the show. Everybody's been asking.
We had to add a little spice, a little pineazzle, you had to add the beauty to the show.
Exactly. We did. Yeah. You're surrounded. Yeah.
You should make this corner your own now.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that her own aesthetics over there. So Vanna Vines will be joining us throughout the show, giving her take on a female perspective on these wines.
What Vanna's drinking this week or something like that. So.
And so then the other thing to talk about is really now to get into whole premise of tonight, and that is Bourbon Barrel. And I think before we can get into the wines, we just have a quick overview about Bourbon Barrels. And the first thing everybody needs to know when we talk about Bourbon Barrel wines, we are going to be talking American the whole time. That is it. That is it. If you're new,
if you're going back and talk about bourbon has not only American, has at least 51% of foreign, and it cannot be more than one. So that's why I see a lot more Bourbon Barrel beers or wines out there versus whiskey barrels are there. But if you're in Canada, if you're in Ireland, you can use those barrels over and over and over again by law. But in Kentucky, one time, and minimum, if I'm not mistaken, 4 years. Most of the best ones go 8-10 years. That's why they're so hard to get, and that's why some of the best bourbons that they're selling out now. I mean,
they're selling out because once you start getting into those 10, 15, 20, 25
that's all they make. That's all they can get. Right?
It's incredible. So again, we're talking American oak throughout. So if you're like, oh, I wonder what kind of barrels they're in, all American oak. And you're going to know that they get heavy char because that's what develops that vanilla flavor. Come on, help me with some other characters that you might
typically compared to wine. I mean, wine barrels go to the same what they call toast. I mean, you go medium, light, heavy toast. But compared to anything that sees a grain spirit that will turn into bourbon or whiskey, typically, like you said, is a charred barrel. I mean, this is a barrel that, so think of the difference between, a wine barrel would be like, 2% milk, whereas the char on a whiskey barrel would be like a, heavy cream or something like that. And much more intense, imparts much more flavor than, say, a wine barrel would. Obviously the red grapes, the color comes from the red grapes, but when whiskey or bourbon goes into the barrel, it goes in clear, and 4, 5, 12 years later, it comes out dark. So that's why that char, as Danny said, comes from that a lot. So these are going to be some fun wines tonight, guys, that we're going to do. And some cool pictures of Coopers. Basically the way they did it 1,000+ years ago. I mean, nothing new. It's just wood over fire. Hey, there's nothing. I don't think they've reinvented the wheel too much after wood and fire after that, right?
No, but you have to think about how expensive it is to make these barrels. It's not a cheap process. You're cutting down, making staves. Staves then get eaten up. So
first of all, the staves age for 10 to 15 years. That's true. And depending on the forest, I would imagine some forests are more coveted than others. Therefore, the law of economics goes in. So there's a whole host of things that go into it. And obviously, we're a wine show, not a bourbon show, so we don't go down the rabbit hole.
We're going to go too much.
What's great about this is, guys, I guess what we're trying to say is, that the quality control, and we'll talk about some very, very fancy bourbons here in a second. But you talk about, the level of barrels are the same as they would be for the same Coopers of wine. Basically, as Danny said, different toast, different sizes, aged a little bit differently. The aesthetics are a little bit different. Oftentimes, bourbon or Scotch barrels look much more gnarled or weathered than say wine barrels are. But definitely kind of the same principle applies. So there you go. So a little whiskey production there. The difference basically being, would say Scotch or Irish whiskey. From the obvious location, bourbon has to be at least 51% or more corn, right?
Yes.
I think it used to be, if I'm not mistaken, had to be specifically in Bourbon County, but I think if they adhere to laws, you could say bourbon whiskey or something that variation of that.
Yes.
I think there's like High West in Utah and other people like that. But as we said, 51% or more corn, American white oak, in 4+ years. So again, it feels like 10 years ago, there were certain bourbons I could just walk into the store and get on just like an everyday basis. But now it's like you have to have the high sign just to be able to get some of these bourbons, like the Buffalo Traces and the Blantons. And, of course, Pappy VanWinkle is just, is a rare bird in itself. But anyway, so kind of a cool little map of whiskey production going all the way back. I mean, hey, Washington, right? I think one of the first distilleries in America, Mount Vernon, right, made whiskey. And so steeped in America's past as much as viticulture is as well, right?
Yep. So now let's get into the wines. First up, and I want to, Scott or Anita Robbins, do you want to let me know if I've now Scott, there we go. He's letting me know. Okay, I fixed the audio issues. Sorry if there was a little double echo there. Hopefully everybody's now not done adjusting their speakers and everything. That was on my end. So
from from here, it sounded okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Now, Scott, Lita, we got it fixed. So, so I'm glad we got that taken care of. But we're going to start with two wines. I'm assuming we're going to go back to back on this. We didn't talk ahead of time. We're going to go back to back,
and then the Exodus
and
in the middle.
So, two wines made by Gnarly Head. This is their 1924 project. This is kind of their throwback to the Roaring 20s, which makes it perfect because we're in the 20s. It's going to be it's already roaring, right? We're already roaring. No pro.
They have pro. I mean, we just couldn't go out. They couldn't drink, but
a little different,
go out,
right?
So it's just like I don't know. You take the good and the bad, right? But hey, you figure things out. Things. Some businesses emerge, some businesses fail, but hey. Very apropos to what happened 100 years ago, right?
We got it worked out. That's that's what we got. So we're starting off with this Scotch barrel.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about barrels brought from Scotland.
Yeah.
But still
made with
whiskey.
Scotch. Yeah.
Whiskey still.
Yeah. I mean, oftentimes American oak barrels, but aged in Scotland. Depending on where they are. Whether it be Islay or Highlands. Things like that, different levels of peat moss. The Ardbegs and Lafroigs are very peaty and things like that. But what's really cool about this project, as Danny mentioned, it's by Gnarly Head. Gnarly Head's still a family-owned project. I mean, these guys have done very well for themselves. It was started in 2004, so less than 20 years ago. And Old Vine Zinfandel was really the thing that they wanted to focused in on, and the first wine for years was an Old Vine Zinfandel. As a matter of fact, Gnarly Head, the whole gnarl that you talk about gnarled vines, that was the first thing they wanted to do. So even though these guys, their success has preceded themselves, they're in chain stores and things like that, they still do these cool craft small projects, and because of these other wines that you do see, they can do these limited small production, small run projects that, depending on the market, may see in some stores, but certainly is geared for if restaurants want to do it, or if independent wine shops, things like that. And what's cool about this is, as you said, bourbon barrel's a thing. How many Scotch barrel age? I mean, so this is one of the first. You get to try wines from other people. I mean, have you seen any other Scotch barrel aged anything? Certainly not by a company like Gnarly Head. That has
not from the Predator. I do know that we carried like one other Scotch barrel.
Was it a red wine?
Red wine.
Okay,
but the white wine, very rare. Actually, white wine. Period. I know Behringer has a white Chardonnay.
Yeah.
But
you'll see a lot of them out there.
See a lot of them out.
But Scotch barrel aged. I mean, what I think is great about this is I think that Scotch gives it that like toast, a little that vanilla, and this one. Has a little that baked apple, which I think perfect for
this time of year.
Thanksgiving time, things like that coming in. Little spice on the back end, but perfect for those people that like that California Chardonnay, a little richer. I won't say like uber creamy, but certainly that toast gives it that little that richness. But it's only 2 months in oak. So that's this isn't a wine that sits for 12 months, 18 months in Scotch barrels.
Right. We're really, I think. After, depending on how old the barrels are that they're using, there's only so much it's going to impart, right?
Yeah.
And reading up on a little bit of this, they're like, well, it's kind of gimmicky anyway because wine's done in barrels, so it's not like
if it's a new barrel, 90% it's been extracted,
right?
Yeah.
So this is not, but what you get,
just a hint, maybe.
Is these hints of that leftover spice, that leftover,
almost like a little. I mean, and I love the temperature you got this at. I almost get.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to say
perfect temperature on this one, right?
It was super chilled.
Yeah.
And I thought this seems to be like one that would be better sitting at room temperature.
I think it's best.
At room temperature.
Yeah.
And then also, I feel like this would be just like one of those Chardonnays that'll really warm you up in the wintertime. Like
absolutely,
not like a
doesn't weigh you down.
Chardonnay, it's just very warm, and like I like that about it.
Yeah, what's this so fun? It's a fun wine, as you mentioned, and like I said, with the temperature, I almost get like this, slight, like I don't know, as they say, like sweet tobacco, leathery kind of thing off of it. Certainly get that kind of Kurdish, lemon Kurdish kind of a thing on the nose, but a fantastic wine. And so for those of you out there that are very sensitive to acid, high acid, maybe that's why you don't drink maybe sparkling wine, white wine, certain lighter reds. I can tell you, even though this I mean, is not all pH. The acid compared to like the peak pools, the Sauvignon Blancs. I mean, if say you're afraid of Sauvignon Blancs, but you like the whites on the other end of the scale, I think as Vanna very eloquently put this is a winter white, a winter white, Vanna winter white. There you go. Kind of a tongue twister, but yeah, but I'm perfect. Sit by the fire, you know, like a little outside kind of a little Chardonnay. So, but like I said, I almost think, you know, again, I know I'm in the Thanksgiving mindset, but like ham, like honey baked ham or something with honey or something like this.
Oh, that right there. Now you're talking.
I mean, deviled egg stuff, things are classic.
Yeah, we
see. I think we're close now, and so that's why we're on that same wavelength.
Well, let's talk pricing. We have a great price on this. 18 down to 16. Obviously, folks, if you're getting your wine club discounts, you're going to want to head over to theloadedgrape.com right now. And I'll tell you right now, that's really good pricing on this wine.
Beyond competitive on that one, guys.
Yeah, very competitive.
This should be $20, and you're getting a deal at $20. You're getting a deal at $20, guys, for $16. You know, and again, I think that's something, you know, you guys will enjoy. Would love to throw in maybe a blind Chardonnay tasting coming up for the holidays. You got someone in the family that maybe they only drink Scotch or bourbon. This is a fun wine that, guess what? You open it up, they'll have a glass with you. Hopefully they'll have a second glass, but if they don't, guess what? You can have it, and they get to keep the bottle, and they can kind of put it in their collection, right? So, hey, it's a win-win situation. But again, guys, this isn't just a Johnny come lately, and I know we're going to talk more about this. I know it's a fad, as Danny mentioned, but what's great about the company?
No, but fad. It's a niche trend.
It's a niche trend. Well, like any trend, you're going to see a lot of quick buck artists. But what's great about Gnarly Head, these guys are like, you know what? We're established in the market, right? People know about us, and you know, guess what? We're actually going to find great Chardonnay, great Cabernet, which we're about to try, and put them in some barrels that, guess what, aren't just Eversville barrels, right? Or you know, these are actually barrels, and again, declassified. I really can't legally say, but Horse Heaven Hills, I'm told, I'm heard Buffalo Trace is one of those that has connection to Pappy. I want to say there's some Wild Turkey as well. Again, don't quote me on that. They cannot substantiate it, but maybe after a few drinks off the record, maybe they'll tell you as they told me. But hey, they're not bad barrels.
Not bad barrels to be had. I mean, really, to tell you the truth, there's only so many. Like if you're trying to go out and get barrels, there's only so many people you can kind of contact. So, and especially on a mass scale where they're probably saying, "Hey, we're gonna make 10,000 cases of this. I need." You know, so many barrels, you're going to have to go to a bigger Maker's Mark, things like that.
And I want to say this was two of the big Glens. This was, I know Glen Morangi was one, and maybe Glen Fittich was the other Scotch producer. So again, two big-ish producers that certainly make some great Scotch that, hey, your Scotch drinkers should know. Again, don't quote me on that. Hint, hint, wink, wink. That's kind of what I've been told. But hey, guys, this is a fun Chardonnay. And again,
it's delicious.
Drink this at more room temp, as Vanna said, because I would not drink this super chilled. You're going to lose that nuance, as Danny said. Not overly oaky, not overly.
Ladies, drink this by the fire.
we had this out of the fridge for about 45 minutes before we started drinking it now. Perfect. So and it was in the fridge for a whole day. So that kind of tells you the nuances. And still chilled. It's still cold, but it's not.
I'm super excited about this one. I've almost dropped this bottle like 50 times because it's so heavy.
It's so heavy, and it has this sand blasted bottle kind of a thing.
Like it's almost like slipped out of my hands. And the label reminds me of the
it's like a
label.
I got the label. I got the label up there too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I just to show people maybe the bottle, the aesthetic.
Well, looks like an old whiskey bottle. I'll bring you over to Vanna Vines.
Vanna's got here. Vanna.
I'll bring you over to Vanna Vines. Go ahead. What you want to get a close up though? You're far away. You're far away.
I might drop it though.
No.
It's so heavy.
But what's great about this wine, guys, is again, you know, they don't leave anything to chance. I mean, certainly the label is going to make you, and the bottle, you know, admittedly will make you buy a bottle.
We'll get.
Say they make it once and they're done. They just make this in a much smaller capacity. than their other wines, just because, again, the limited amount of bourbon barrels they're able to get. And again, the price reflects it. So as Danny said, really the regular gnarly head stuff you can see in the market for $16. So these are limited gnarly head for 16. But anyway, I digress. This is the Cabernet, and Danny, I think you need to get you.
Yeah, I need to get me some.
Get you some there.
The color of this is insane.
Yeah, I mean, guys, this is we're on Virtual Vines, almost 50 now.
It's a lot of episodes. I need to actually go back.
We need to go back and check, but we need to do episode L.
Yes, yes.
But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is, we've done lots of wines, lots of price points, and I'm sure, and thank you for any of you that have tuned in twice or 20 times and have bought wine from us. One, thank you, but two, as you drink the wines throughout the holidays, there's several wines at several price points that you break out for maybe different occasions for different reasons, right? I can say with the Chardonnay and this wine, at the price point, and Danny is going to blow us away, I know, again with this one. These are the wines when I know we're still, as distant as we can. So when you just have the 2, 4, whatever people in your group, and you need to have an extra bottle or two, no one's going anywhere. Maybe they're going to stay the night, maybe, or whatever. This is the bottle to have. Maybe some of you subscribe to hey, we broke out the Robert Craig Affinity. Instead of breaking out the second bottle, I need something that's about $30 less a bottle. I get that, right? Mm-hmm. This is something that you have 4 or 5 extra bottles and say, guess what, guys? I got this loaded grape. Whoa! And again, I know you're going to drink a few bottles and say, man, was that as good as that? Well, hey, guys, hey, think about, we've had a few things to drink, but still, this is something after a few glasses, drinking with a few friends. And again, the price point, hey, on a Tuesday night, it's something you can drink from now until Christmas, till Santa Claus comes, right?
TC, this is yummy. And what I will say is I've had some bourbon barrel aged wines where the bourbon, the peatiness, the
either makes it super sweet, right? Or it almost makes it just, or like you said, I think you're about to say, it makes it too bourbony, or it's over it more kind of mask it, right? Kind
of heavy alcohol burn.
This still smells like Cabernet. I mean, this
it still smells like
has
Cabernet.
The dark fruit, that black fruit.
Like
we're looking. I mean, we're looking at what's our this is actually 15% alcohol, so
14 and a half, maybe something like that. It's got there.
It's there, but it doesn't go down like it's 15.
And one thing Vanna said right off the bat, and I'm going to reiterate, that the color on this is just beautiful. This has this dark maroon. Mm-hmm. I won't say quite purple, but it's like it's
violet.
Yeah, it's like this right before. It's like right before. It's like between red and purple. It's like right in that crosshairs of that. But fun little wine, guys. Again, doesn't spend a ton of time in the bourbon barrels. Only 3 months, just to kind of give it, as they call it, the devil share. The angel share being what evaporates, and they have to refill the barrels, and that happens with any kind of alcohol, whether it be, I assume beer, even though beer probably doesn't spend a ton of time, but wine as well as spirits. But the devil share is what's absorbed in the wood itself. And if you are ever in the bourbon trail and have, I guess, a car large enough to carry one, you can buy a bourbon barrel, an empty bourbon barrel that they've already emptied, and on a hot North Carolina summer day, fill it about a quarter, halfway up, sit it outside, let it expand, maybe roll the barrel around a little bit. And I'm not saying you're going to have the finest of bourbons, but guess what? You're going to have about a gallon or so of just bourbon that just kind of comes right out of it. So that's what happens with the wine. They sit in there, it kind of extracts that devil share just to the point. But again, unlike water, which is neutral, wine already has its flavor. So that bourbon, as Danny said, 90% of it's used, but that 10% just to coax that flavor out. Fun little wine. I mean, this almost gives like that plum fruit cake kind of a smell on the back end of it.
It's so good.
I mean, like the taste alone is delicious.
We do have a question on the vintage. It's a 2018. It's a 2018 vintage
for both Chardonnay and the red.
So that I hope that answers your question there. 2018, but it is. Let's get to the fun part, because I could give you the price on this one too, folks, because you're gonna be.
Are we giving this one away as well?
Yeah, that's
to the chagrin of Vanna. I hear chagrin.
That's what we're doing. Yes,
$16.
$16.
This is Santa Claus right here before. I mean, this is Santa.
Yeah.
I'm coming early here with Santa Santa Claus coming early. But folks, these two wines. If you're just saying, hey, you know what? Let's support the Little Grape this week. Let me pick up a bottle or two of these. I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy these wines.
It's fun, guys. Again, Gnarly Head, guys. I'm not going to lie. Gnarly Head's a brand for us. Pays the bills. That you're going to see the regular cab, the Chardonnay, the Sauvignon Blanc out in stores. I think, some chain like Bricks Pizzas, actually shout out to Bricks. They actually have done the Sauvignon Blanc and the Zen by the glass. But this is something, again, barring a store that just begged for a few cases, we just get a very small amount of this every year. So again, as Gnarly Head goes, they have the pocketbook, right, to make great wines at that level. But this is something they can use a little bit of their influence and make a fantastic Scotch and bourbon barrel wine. And if I can just say for Tryon too, one thing I can, with the bourbon barrel, trend or no trend, when we're presented with wines, and certainly people way above my pay grade that are presented with them, I'm sure we could probably have a dozen more right now.
Oh,
easily,
yeah.
So as we taste through, we're really kind of tasting by committee. Not only is it cool and hip, does it hit the price point, but could we drink it? Would we drink another bottle? And that's ultimately what we ask ourselves. We're really not trying to buy a pallet of wine, sell it today one day at $20, and then tomorrow turn around and sell it to them for $5. Hey, that's fine. That happens, but we want to build brands and say, hey, things happen. Some brands come and go. We close out, but ultimately we want to build brands. And this is something we can build a little name on, that niche where Gnarly Head, they know about it, but you're like, wait a minute. My store that I pick up, maybe the Gnarly Head's in, they don't have these, and I can go by the Loaded Grape and pick and for $16.
$16.
Unbelievable.
These prices are only for this week, though. They're going on Friday. So
I would just grocery shop. You guys got cheese, right?
Yeah. I know you shop here.
Just grocery shop at the Loaded Grape, right?
Francis wants to know how to order. So, Francis, I'm going to show you right now how you can order. If you go over to the loadedgrape.com, and right on our homepage will be all right at the top are all the wines we're doing tonight. You can order right there online, or you can easily come in the shop if you want as well. Shipping is available, so if you're not local, we can ship to you. If you're watching the show and going, man, I really want one of those, and maybe
how quick's the turnaround with shipping? Like, can you get it like on a week
about 4 days? About 4 days.
Okay.
About 4 days. So basically, Wednesday at 4:00, it's available for picked up. We would ship it out on Thursday, so you would have it in
by Thanksgiving.
But you'd have it in about 3 to 4 days after we shipped. So, and this is a good time of year to ship. The temperatures have come down, so if you're wanting to do that, we can do that as well. But yeah, this is a really fun wine. It's so delicious. I don't even know what to say. I mean, for $16, it's one of those ones in the wine world. They're like, it's worth taking a risk on, right? Well, it's not going to break the budget. If you don't trust us, you're going to learn to trust us. If you haven't bought wine from us on this show, this is a good starting point, because you're going to drink this wine and go, Yep, I get it. I get what they're saying. And in the future, you're going to buy more wine from us while you watch the show, because it's
fun wines, fun price points, guys. Not trying to break the piggy bank as it comes up, and great. And again, just one thing I will say about these two wines as we go on to the next one, this both Gnarly Heads. Again, I know I have some accounts out there. They're like TC. If just the guy down the road has it, let alone a chain account. I love the brown paper bag. Gnarly Head, in particular, these wines, and all the people that naysay, and I can't. They're like, oh, like just ooh and ah, like you just did, and then I show them. They're like, oh. I'm like, well, guys, you don't have to hate your taste. So I mean, I get it. You want to, you have a sort of a mission statement. You have an audience, but don't miss out on the sale. And that's what I think Danny is really offering for you guys. I mean, these are two great wines that just don't miss out on it, guys. I mean, these are fun. These two Gnarly Head 1924. Really good stuff. I know
it's weird, because tonight we're featuring two of the same winemakers for two of these, or four of these wines, all coming from two winemakers, but the fifth wine not. But this, guys, I trust us on this one, on these two at this price point. Definitely hop over to loadedgrape.com, grab yourself a bottle. We're going to a different one. So
you want to do these two and then
that's fine. No, you know what? This is fine. Let me adjust my
end.
You know what? I'm in the right order. I'm in the right order.
Yeah.
So I'm good. Right? Good. I just wanted to make sure that when I bring up the I don't want to see. I want to do.
Well, and I think we just started the thing with Vanna showing the bottle, so we guys. I think the like first week or two we got this wine, probably a few months after you guys had the shop. And it's probably 2 weeks out from a wine club.
Yep.
You needed like a wine or two. Like I think you needed a wine. I think y'all had kind of set, but just a wine. You and Andy kind of looked at each other like taste one, and we're like, so TC, what price? Okay, yes.
Did I empty my glass, or did you just pour over top of it?
I didn't pour it. Did you pour it?
Did you pour it?
How much
I didn't pour it.
Oh.
Here,
You're
need to
still
pour it.
drinking the same thing.
No, I'm still drinking the thing. Okay. I was going to be like, this doesn't taste right.
You didn't
Okay.
drink any of yours.
Anyone paying attention?
Anyone paying
along, you know,
attention?
go ahead,
We've only
yeah.
had about half a glass of wine, and I'm already.
Because you have like a computer board in front of you, like
Danny, we almost need
the
like
motherboard
we need
over
like Gary V, like Mott, bring it up. You know, we need a producer in the back. That's we need to bring
Oh,
Andy
you know
up.
what?
We
I
need
just
Andy in the
realized.
background.
I if I bring her up, I have her audio off so that we cannot do that. So we just got to remember that if I bring you up on screen, we both have to be on screen. Thanks, Craig, for letting me know.
Okay.
So we finally got this cool setup, and we got it working. And yeah. So I guess we have to work through some things that if I put her on camera, I have to unmute her mic and mute our mic.
So
And
I cancel you out. Or you
yes, because I have your mic muted so that we don't have audio issues. So there we go. All right, let's move on back onto the Exodus. What they call it is a badass wine with a bourbon soul. So again, this is a wine very early on. We used in the wine club around this time of year because we tasted it. I was like, one, really cool bottle, two, really, really good wine.
Good juice.
Good juice on this. And really, folks, I know because when I posted that we were doing this and I put up we're doing Exodus, several folks were like,
automatically we're like,
yes.
Well, because you forget about stuff, right? I mean, you get it for the wine club, and you got. I mean, well, that's the problem. You, Andy, we, I like to thank me as well, and you guys. We have so many great wines. Sometimes you forget about wines. I mean,
that just happened. I literally saw this. I was straightening shelves the other day, and I said, "Oh,
you forget about."
I was like, I used to love to drink this wine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then Danny goes, "Well, it's going to be on Virtual Vines." I'm like, "It must have been a psychic thing."
Bringing it back.
Bringing it back. We want to bring it back. So, folks, I'll tell you why this is one of my favorite wines. One, you know how we've been loving on Zinfandel.
Yep.
We got Zinfandel.
Yep.
One of
your
favorite
things.
It has another grape that I love. Petit Verdot.
Yeah, a little PD.
PV. Got the PV in there.
You have a PV club. Hashtag PV
PV
club.
Club.
Like,
my
like
PV
the first
club.
rule about PV club is you can't tell what PV club is.
Exactly. for us Petit Verdot fans. And then a little Syrah in there as well. I feel like I'm missing one more grape. There's one more grape.
Yeah, I mean you kind of that's about 80-90% of it.
Yeah,
I mean, they will throw a few other things in there. I mean, I've even seen I think a couple of vintages ago it was like Tempranillo or maybe even Barbera, like an Italian or European varietal. But what's really cool about this wine is we get it from O'Neill imports or distributors or distillers, I guess. I mean, these guys are fairly large, and they're actually one of the largest in California. However, they're large because they do several projects for several restaurants, chain accounts, and country clubs throughout the country. So they will do very small pallet, 2 pallet, 3 pallet runs. For if Loaded Grape wants to do a Loaded Grape Cabernet, they'll do it. Now there is a commitment to how much they have to buy, but they will do it. O'Neill can do it. So what
cool.
And so what I love about O'Neill
Let's do that.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, as a matter of fact, there's a country club in the Triad that actually does it through those guys. But what's great about it is they have, like Gnarly Head, the deep pockets to do bourbon barrel things, barrel fermented Chardonnay. Actually, Harkin, for those of you that love the Harkin, actually for a few wine clubs, a few wine clubs ago, about a year ago, a little thumbs up on that one. But again, Flat Rock, Back House. I mean, just other great price point appropriate. But this is something they really went, I think, up a tier with. They splurged a little bit. And again, the barrels they went out and procured are some that, again, I can't kind of substantiate on camera, but are all ones that you probably have in your bourbon collection. But this, as Danny said, it's a red blend. the bottle's kind of a throwback to the late 1800s, 1880s, where you kind of, go in the bar and just throw some random coin down and do a laundry list of stuff and say, okay. And then you're like, wait a minute, did you actually add any of that up? I just asked for a room and a horse and a shirt and like a bottle of whiskey and a meal. And I just threw some like obscure amount of money on the thing. You're just like, wait, we're just going to bite it. We're just going to have to see money, So, just like, when those cowboys throw their thing on their horses kind of lazily over the bar as they come in. You're just like, wait a minute, is that it's just my life on that horse. They just want to like go away, right? Yeah. But X's is a fun wine. I digress. But X is a fun wine, guys. We've had now for I think maybe 2, maybe 3 vintages.
Yep.
Spends again not a ton of time, 3-ish months in barrel. And it's just a fun wine that again, it's something that people forget about. I mean, when Danny was wanting to do a bourbon barrel wine, I said, Exodus is something we got to do. And, again, it's just something that when throw back in there, a little toastiness in there, again, medium.
A little tobacco.
Yeah. I mean, medium bodied. I mean, this is something, where, I know he said Zinfandel and actually the alcohol says it's 15.9 on it, but it doesn't drink very hot to me. I mean, it doesn't curl the nose hairs. But again, a fun little wine that, for folks that have their own bar that, love the bourbon, love the brown stuff, want to have a few bottles of wine on their back bar. This is something that they want to have. Whiskey bars, I do very well with this with whiskey places, mixology places around town. Certainly love to pour this and do very well with it. So
that's a good sell too, because like all of these bottles, that's a valid point. They would be perfect for, man caves.
Mm-hmm.
Man cave bars.
Yeah, because you need something about, when somebody comes over, they need a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Boom, that almost looks like you're opening a bottle of whiskey, with the whiskeys that, because hey, let's face it, not everyone's maybe, want to sit there and pound whiskey with you. So open a glass of wine, there you go. So yeah,
this folks, go ahead and throw in the comments. I know some of you guys might remember this. If this is one of your favorites, give it a thumbs up, give it some hearts. Let us know. I'm telling you, we have a great price. I'm gonna bring this up. I'm gonna bring this up and break the internet.
Hurt my feelings?
No, I mean it's not gonna hurt your feelings. I don't think at all. We have a great price on this. Got it down to $20 plus your wine club discount. So I guess if you're in the state club, you're looking at $18 a bottle.
Yeah.
That's crazy good. If you're in the reserve club, you're 17 bottle.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's a crazy. You're not gonna that totally crushes the internet. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, probably one of the best prices I found on the internet was $19.99.
Yeah.
The winery themselves on their website sells it at $25 a bottle. So I'm even beating the price before.
Well, you see anywhere,
22. Beat what you can buy off the website.
I think what you're trying to say is if you're not in the club or reserve club, first of all, you probably should be. But if you just can't, text somebody that is and say, hey,
they may about a bottle.
Pick me up like 6 of them because give me that bro-in-law discount right there, man.
Yeah,
because when you go and pick up that reserve tier right here and tell them it's for you because I need me some Exodus right here. This is something easily. Honestly, this is probably something of everything that we have. Will just go very quick, like you put on a table. With your your charcuterie boards that you guys like to put out around the holiday time. As a matter of fact, I think when you did your 2-year party last in December, I think this was something that went on the bar, and by the time you open it, it just goes.
It was. We were hanging out. TC remembers. We were just hanging out, and some folks were like, "Oh," I was like, "Well, let me open up a bottle." I grabbed a bottle of this, and I turned around to go get some more, and it was gone. I was like, "Man, that went quick." Because here's the thing: even though it's done in bourbon barrels, it doesn't have. Again, it's easy drinking. It would be tough for you to tell that it comes in a bourbon barrel, minus some of the spice that's on the back. But there's good fruit on the front. Makes it a really nice. I would say this is more medium to medium plus of a wine. So not the.
Well, to me, I think the bourbon barrel comes Zen and the Petit Verdot down, because Zen sometimes by itself can be very big and bold. Petit Verdot by itself is like very tannic, very rich, by itself, right? That's why it's a great blending grape sometimes by itself. So to me, bourbon barrels kind of tame. I mean, they really do kind of tame those two, that Zinfandel and Petit Verdot. And I gotta say right now, if Exodus hasn't come up with that tagline right now, they better call me right now, because taming Zinfandel and Petit Verdot in a badass wine, right?
It is a badass wine, and to hell with tradition. That's what they. It's their taglines. It's their taglines. So let's move on. We'll keep the show going, folks. This next wine,
Southern Belle next.
Southern Belle. We're gonna go Southern Belle. This next wine was also in the wine club at one point early on when we first started. Dan Phillips is the winemaker. And Dan has actually been into our wine shop, not for a tasting. He was coming around doing meeting with wine shop owners and doing tastings with us to get us to bring in their wines. We actually did one of his wines earlier on Virtual Vines, which was the Luchador. If you remember the Luchador.
Still have a few cases of that. Let Danny know.
Let us know. I know we're out of it in the shop, but we can get some more of it if that's something you guys want. There
so
are
much space in the shop. You only have so much. I mean, come on, Dan. Can you have everything in the shop all the time? You guys got to text these. I mean, guys, and that's probably a good point to remember. If you go in the shop and you're like, I had this wine 3 months ago, let them know, guys, because there's only so much space they have in the shop. That's the problem. I only have so much space. We can get it. They can get it. If you give them enough lead time, in some cases less than 48 hours. You can probably get it. And who knows, if you order enough, we might be able to send, Andy in a onesie or something like that. If you special order enough of it, maybe we can really coax them out of that. So, but anyway, so I guess, sorry, as an aside, anything that we've done in the past that the shop or have forgotten about, let these guys know. We can certainly order you more. In most cases, some have sold out, but there are plenty of others we can get more of. So anyway.
So this is the Southern Belle. So when it first started, actually this is the first wine to go into bourbon barrels. This is where bourbon barrel wine started from. So Dan Phillips was at a wine dinner in Kentucky, and while he was there, he ran into Julius VanWinkle from the Pappy VanWinkle distillery. And afterwards, they had some conversation and said, hey, let's, maybe we should do something. And the first vintage of Southern Belle was actually done with some Barossa Shiraz. That's not, it's kind of moved from there. Now we are using.
We're just getting the best fruit. Because
he's getting the best fruit.
He was finding fruit in the open market.
Exactly. Right? This is now moved to.
But even better in Spain, because we talked about old vines. We talked about, hey, old vines make the best wine.
Best wine.
Organic as well. We did the celebrity wine, the Cameron Diaz wines, which were delicious, by the way, organic. And she was saying, hey, I'm trying to fit a price point. I'm looking for organic. Spain again, I think that's something for you, better for me category folks. But anyway, again, it's just pound for pound. Spain is where it's at right now.
It's where it's at, and so he made this. Started making the wine with Monastrell. And I'm feeling like I'm missing the other grape.
Well, originally it was Shiraz based, so he wanted to kind of get that same profile. So for this one right here, it actually is Syrah and Monastrell, which is Mourvedre with this one right here. Mourvedre, originally it was Shiraz, but it's from Umia, which is in that southeastern part. When we had Victor on not too long ago, like the Mo Monastrell, and I feel like we did one or maybe two other ones from that region. But anyway, perfect for a very late ripening grape that you see in like the Rhone Valley. But 50-50 Syrah to Monastrell.
Yes. So what I was going to say, if you're not familiar with Pappy VanWinkle bourbon, now when they made this relationship in the late 80s, early 90s, Pappy VanWinkle was not this cult bourbon brand that it is now. It was out there. It was in the market, and some Psalms heard about this wine at a Psalm dinner, and they were drinking it, and they go, Pappy VanWinkle, and they went to bourbon place down the street. And what happened was they ended up drinking the whole bottle of Pappy VanWinkle. And because all these somms knew about it, everybody started buying it up, and it became a big thing in New York City to get Pappy VanWinkle, which made it hard to get because all of a sudden they were like not prepared for this boom of business. And so because of the business and the demand, the price went up. It is a wonderful, wonderful whiskey, bourbon. And so this is a photo I'm bringing up right now of Dan Phillips, who's the winemaker. Really fun guy. We literally talked his ear off for about 2 hours in the shop. TC's boss was taking him around, and but really, really nice guy. And I tell you this, I guarantee you the next time he's in the market, when COVID's over and everything, he will be doing a tasting in our shop. He's said that specifically to us.
Super fun guy.
Fun guy. But the big thing here is that we wanted to show you a little bit, as before we get more into the wine, a little bit more about Pappy VanWinkle and their bourbons.
It's one of those things where you talk about Fight Club. Literally, I mean, you can't get these things at all. I mean, I used to buy for a place up in Blowing Rock, and we had, seasonality and the customer base to do lots of scotches and bourbons and things like that. And if you see the Rip Van Winkle on the far left, which is not cheap, that was something, or the far left two bottles, those two bottles, the Rip Van Winkles, those were the two that I was maybe graced with getting a bottle or two from time to time. The rest of the bottles, especially the 23 and the Reserve, were just like you could forget about it. Yeah. And even if you could get them, it was so price point prohibitive that even for folks that I would have that would come and pay $30, $40, I'm like, well, guess what? I'm going to have to charge beyond twice that just to be able to recoup. I wouldn't say my money back. I mean, but this is something that is a very special thing indeed. And again,
perspective on this, the 20-year manufacturer retail price is $199.99. That is if you can even find it.
Yeah, but what's the resale and like online? If you can find, it's going for thousands of dollars basically. Yeah. I mean, if it, depending on the year, I was looking when Danny and I were texting earlier today. I think the 23, there's some 07 23 that's going for basically the price of like a used Prius right now, about $3,900. So, not to say you can't drop some money on going to ABC store for good bourbon that they have anyway, but Pappy is one that really is almost exclusively goes to restaurants and people that support other, like the Buffalo Traces and some of their other secondary brands and stuff like that. It's beyond allocated. It's kind of like the Great White Buffalo that you can dangle, and when restaurants that's why they put exorbitant prices, because they're like, well, guess what?
We're going to get one bottle.
We don't have to sell it. We can just sit there and just let it sit there, because honestly, letting it sit there, and we can put it on our wine list or bourbon list, it makes us look, pretty good and this, that, and the other. Anyway, it's the hardest to get bourbon out there. Is it the best? I don't know. I mean, the best is a very subjective term, but Julian out there, I've heard he's a very humble person, and Dan, as Danny's mentioned, super fun nice guy. I could just imagine them two sitting down at a dinner talking about, I got some wine, I got some bourbon barrels. Well, let me send them over. Let me use them. Right. I could just imagine. I want to be a fly on that wall. Right. I mean, the bourbon and wine and probably cigars that were consumed.
And they're good friends. Dinner, right? They're still good friends. They still hang out. And I understand it from when Dan was in the shop. He sends a few cases of wine, and Julian sends some of the bourbon every year. So that's
sometimes I'm like, Dan's come out better on that deal right there.
That's what I feel like.
It just sounds like about a pallet, maybe the price point right there, because oh my God, I mean. And I'm not saying the Southern Bell's cheap, but God, compared to the Pappy VanWinkle wines, I mean, you could buy cases of Southern Bell compared to the Rip Van Winkle. But anyway, like anything in the market, supply and demand, and what people will love and want to buy. I've had some of the Winkles, and they're fantastic. They're a world-class operation. Dan's a world-class dude trying to make some cool stuff. So as Danny said, Bourbon Barrel's a thing. It's hot now. But if you can get something the original, if you can get an OG, if you can get one of the top flight bourbons out there, why not do it? And guys, I'm not trying to butter you up to say $50, $60, $70, which is probably something that you probably could do, right?
You could do
with Pappy VanWinkle, right? I mean, this is something that you could say, hey, this is they're based in Napa Valley, right? Not a cheap place to be, and quite frankly, this is something that has all the checkpoints to be a reserve tier price. But anyway,
yeah, I just want to talk about the label really quick.
Oh yeah, like a fine piece of china.
Almost, right? So the label is also done by a fairly famous artist, and now I'm drawing a blank on it. The initial labels used to have each of the wines would have 3 different labels, so you never knew what label. You saw on the shelf, sometimes the labels would be different, and so that this is the current label. He decided to stop doing that because there's a lot of brand confusion. Because it's like, well, what label is this? What label is that? So this is the only label that they are using now, and we're going to get into some more labels here done by another artist as well. But just beautiful, beautiful labels that they do, and really gives that Louisiana Bayou look on these.
Well,
on
old
these
school,
bourbon.
like you said, fine china look. As Danny mentioned, it's a famous artist, but they talked about sort of old antebellum times and things like that. With this, obviously, patriarchy being what it was, but this is kind of that bowing. Yeah, there you go. I think somebody's Pappy VanWinkle Reserve. Yeah, there you go, $3,000, which. Yeah. I want to go ahead and say it's easily the price of my car, and that's for a bottle, a 750. So, Danny, let's do the math. What would $3,000 get you? How much Southern Belle? Would you deliver that much Southern Belle to someone?
If you had an inventory, we would send it over, because tonight it's down to $20 before any wine club discounts.
There you go. That should be easy math. For people watching, do the math and let us know. I'm not going to do it because that makes my brain hurt. But $20 a bottle, I'm going to say that's lots of cases right there.
Lots of cases.
I think that's going to be like Danny, maybe Vanna, and Andy are coming in like a convoy.
Of U-Haul trailers.
U-Haul trailers right there. Renting a trailer right there.
Yeah, I would actually just call TC and go, don't even look. Don't drop it here. I'll drop it at your address. Maybe just meet your delivery guy at this address.
Bring the hand truck. Right?
Yeah, because we're just gonna drop it off there. But yeah, I'm telling you right now, this is an amazing deal. At $22, it's an amazing deal. At $20, we're beating the internet. And if you're getting discounts on top of this, folks, take advantage of this right now. Please.
This is a drinkable wine, period.
Yes.
Let's just go aside from the labels. Let's get aside from Pappy VanWinkle. All that. I mean, this is a great Syrah Monastrell from Umia for $20, right? I mean, just that alone, I would pay $20. I mean, this is a great wine by itself, but added all those extra things to it, still being $20, sub $20 for some of you folks out there. Again, tonight, I think we're breaking the internet on everything.
We are breaking the internet
prices, guys.
On these prices. Let's go over to Vanna Vines really quick.
What do you think, Vanna?
Vanna Vines, what do you think?
I love this one. I mean, I've always loved this one. So, I don't really have to sell this one, do I? Because it's delicious.
Yeah, it is very good.
Vanna is the Southern Belle at the Loaded Grape, So she brings, like I said, she brings the debutante-esque-ness to it.
I actually added these to my Halloween wines to pick up because the bottles are always so gothic looking. So
yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that. In the Exodus too, I thought that was very Halloweenish.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're 2 days.
Right.
So.
Well, we just missed the Day of the Dead.
That's right.
Day de Mortis.
Yeah.
That was yesterday, so it's not like we're that far past Halloween. No. And so folks, go over to loadedgrape.com, throw a couple of these in your cart at that price. I'm telling it. This week, we not only did we do bourbon barrel wines, but we did value bourbon barrel wines. I mean, at these prices, holy moly, take advantage of it.
And ultimately, I think I know that's the theme tonight. And as you said, and just to reiterate, sometimes the bourbon barrel, and you guys try more than I get to try bourbon barrel things. Oftentimes the bourbon barrel becomes the star, and maybe that's what they wanted to do because it says it on the label. But what's great about these are all great wines by themselves.
Yes.
Like that's a great Chardonnay, that's a great Cabernet, that's a great red blend by itself.
With the accent of the bourbon.
The accent of the bourbon just takes that extra dimension, and I know it's yes, it's kind of a thing that's in the market, but guess what? As maybe the market contracts, these will be bourbon barrels that will last.
Oh, they're going to
be on
last.
there.
Well, I mean,
because
you're already
people
looking.
People come back. You know, they come back and buy more.
They come back and buy more bottles. And again, this is where it started. This is the whole concept started right here. So it always sells. So take advantage of it this week at down to $20. I mean, really don't miss out on that. And if you're in the wine club and you're checking out at loadedgrape.com, you're going to use Cellar if you're in the Cellar Club in the coupon code, Estate if you're in the Estate Club, Reserve if you're in the Reserve or Grand Reserve Club. Again, all these wines will be available Wednesday at 4 o'clock when we open, and you can come by and pick them up. If you need us to deliver, we could do that. As to ship, they will go out Thursday, and you'll have them there, and you can choose your shipping when checking out. It's all right there on the website as well. So,
I have a question about these wines, though. Were they always screw top?
Yes, they were always Stelvin enclosures. Yeah. So always Stelvin enclosures, which makes it great for bringing to a party.
And honestly,
you don't need a screw cap.
And that was one of the adjectives I was going to use was the drink me aspect to all these wines. I mean, not just all the wines, but these two in particular, the Southern Belle and the Poor Thing. So as Danny said, as the Bourbon Barrel thing has expanded, these are two wines. The Southern Belle, probably as you know, because red blend's hot, the category. The Southern Belle was probably the easiest sell. The Precious, which we're unfortunately out of because they've sold so much of it. So that's the Syrah. But we have two of the three wines tonight.
One bottle of it in the shop.
There you go. So when you come and pick up a couple,
bottle. So that's why I didn't even put on the website.
If you need a trifecta,
if you want the whole set, you got to get there at 4 o'clock on Wednesday if you want the whole set. Because I have one bottle. Yeah.
I'm going to assume that bottle's go ahead and sold. You better go ahead and text them. Don't even order it. Don't even order it. Just go ahead and text them and say, hold it for me. Yeah. But we have two of the three wines here for you guys tonight. And the Poor Thing is the one that flies under the radar because people love Southern Belle. They love the name and blend. They love Syrah because of the unctuousness of Syrah. But Grenache kind of flies on the radar. I think so many people drink Grenache, whether it be Côte de Rhône, whether it be Grenache, like the Felons that you love in the store, and some of those other Grenaches, the Côte de Highest that we've done on previous shows. But Grenache, is a grape that, for whatever reason, people sometimes, and I know there's not a ton of it on the open market, but you don't necessarily think to grab, but it is blended oftentimes, especially in the Rhone varietals, but in just red blends in California and things like that. But this is a wine from Spain as well, but a little bit further north. So this is not too far from the Catalonia region, actually just kind of south bordering the Castilla de Leon area, which makes fantastic Grenache. So Dan, as I said, has just hit the ball out of the park with not only his relationship with Julian VanWinkle, but in these areas, Monastrell, Umea is one of the perfect places for that. Grenache, Castilla de Leon, ripe, juicy, fruit forward, just drink me, medium plus wine, big but not over robust style. These wines have it in spades. Southern Belle, if you have a savvy enough wine drinker that has been to the Loaded Grape, they may have tried that. The Grenache, the Poor Thing, not as much maybe for whatever reason. So this is something that I think we're almost going to reintroduce tonight for some people that have had Southern Belle. They're going to be like, oh, they make something different. I'm like, yeah, they do. Mm-hmm. Now, admittedly, not a lot of it. So we do have a little bit of it, and we will have the Precious at some point. But this Grenache, guys, do a side by side. This is a 2016 current vintage. I want to say it's the oldest vintage dated because there was a vintage dated question. So for those of you who are looking for something that's a little got some age on it, 2016, 4 years. What do you think about this, Danny?
So this is what I had with dinner tonight. Because we've had this before in the shop, and actually this was also in the wine club.
I thought I smelled Grenache when I walked in.
Yeah. It was like that was on my. He's like, is that Grenache on your breath? Yes, it is. I broke into the Poor Thing at dinner tonight. This. I tell you what, if you're into that more again medium to medium plus drinker on the tannin.
A lot drier than I remember it too.
It is drier.
I mean, dry. I knew it was dry, but man, this one's got a little bit of that, like in the back, like man, I need. I'm looking for my
Your little
bread and olive oil.
Yeah, just a little something
right
to nosh on. This wine. Again, there's not a lot of it, so I would definitely, if you're into one Grenache, if you like Grenache, then this is going to be a wine for you. You don't get a lot of the bourbon barrel on this one because I think the Grenache just kind of takes it over.
It's like more mulberry, like more muddling spice,
more muddling spice.
It's like more stewed black fruit, blue black fruit.
And I really, if I recall, and I'm pretty good at recalling these things, when we had this in the wine club, we went through cases of it, and the fact because everybody was picking it.
Yeah,
it is that good of a wine. When we did, actually, the thing is, we also did by the glass, and so during that by the glass program, we ended up going through almost 18 cases of this wine in that month. I think it was November of last year. So it's not. This is something that I know people like, especially on these nights that are getting colder. If you're going to sit by the campfire. I'm telling you, if there's somebody who's like, hey, I need a little bit more tannin, go here. If I needed a little bit more fruit forward, but has just that medium, nice, good fruit, but not overly fruity, that and then go with a Southern Belle. Both are great talking pieces when you have friends over, because once you drink these wines, you're gonna do like I do, dive right into the internet and go, tell me all about this stuff and the winemaker and how he met Julian VanWinkle and all. I mean, you're gonna dive into it, and your friends are gonna be like, how much did you pay for this wine? If they know anything about bourbon. And when you're like, hey, well, I shop at the Loaded Grape, so one, they have amazing prices all the time. Two, if you haven't heard, I'm going to bring it up. We are Guilford's best from the News and Record 2 years in a row, best wine shop and best wine bar. So if you're not shopping with us, I mean, folks in the Triad know where to get a good value and also have a good value on wine as well. So thank you so much for those who have voted for us and have supported us and supported Virtual Vine since we started. And again, supporting TC too, because as we sell bottles, it's kind of this symbiotic relationship.
We try to bring the good stuff, guys. I mean, we try to find more. We won't say bad stuff. I mean, we agree we can't find everything that's right for everybody. I mean, hey, that's called spice and diversity. We love that. We embrace that. We encourage that. But tonight I think is some great wines with the holidays coming up. Not just for Thanksgiving, which we got a great show coming up for Thanksgiving specifically, but as Vanna said, as the weather changes. God, the other night I walked outside and I think it dropped 20, 25 degrees with the rain and everything else. These are perfect sit outside wines. And if you love Spain, if you love Spain, we've done shows. Hopefully you've had some Spanish wines from us that you just come back to the shop for. Grab a Luchador, grab a Porthing, grab a Southern Belle. You have kind of the and if you're lucky enough to get the Precious, but let's just go ahead and say the first three. You have three great Spanish wines, first of all, but you got a Tempranillo, a Grenache, a Monastrell, and a Syrah blend. Let's just go ahead and say all for the price around $60 or under $60 ish, depending on
tonight we have
stuff like that.
We have this normally on the show for 23 plus your wine club discounts. So you don't want to miss out on taking advantage of this wine on your discount as well, because some of you folks are going to be saving quite a bit of money on this, and again beating the internet on pricing for this. And so, folks. TC's mentioned our Spanish wines. I need to bring up in 2 weeks we have Alberto Moro from Emilio Moro. So he'll be joining us from Spain to be on the show. So that's going to be really, really awesome. Next week, we have Chloe, who's going to be joining us. We're going to do Burgundy or Burgundy wines. So I keep on saying Burgundy. It's fun. Bourguignon for Thanksgiving. So these are going to be wines, French wines that you might love to pair with your Thanksgiving meal. Then we'll have some, again, Spanish wines wines that you can also. And then right before Thanksgiving, we're going to be doing a fun little show with Pirano and Steve's going to be on.
Yeah,
and
Steve,
so,
super fun. Make sure, actually, I think, and I'm going to try, I don't think I have one, but Steve will be wearing a Hawaiian shirt. He is Hawaiian.
We should wear
shirt.
a Hawaiian shirt together.
I know you got a Hawaiian shirt.
I can let you borrow a Hawaiian shirt.
I probably need to borrow one. I mean,
I'll let you borrow a Hawaiian shirt.
So make sure
we
need to like say that's throw Hawaiian shirt as the theme.
As the theme.
Maybe throw like the neon lime sherbet hat.
Yeah, I will do that. Yep. I'll throw that one on.
We'll say tropical. You like that lime sherbet? But we'll say tropical. We'll say tropical in November. Tasting with Steve Hedberg.
Yeah. We'll definitely be dressed up for that. But a great chance to get. And so it's Pirano and
there was like a few Bogles. I think
Bogles as well.
Like maybe Boggle Port or something in there. I mean,
so,
I think we're to be announced, but definitely. I mean, God, under $20. I mean, I think we're talking like, just get your Andrew Jacksons ready for that show, guys, because you'll be throwing them out not only to fill up your cellar and wine rack, but also for gifts. That's the gift show.
Yeah, it's a
Hawaiian
really good
shirt. Break out some Southern Belle. And just go ahead and put some stuff in your cart.
Everything's going to be at amazing values. When I tell you, it's going to be a value show where very rarely we're going to get anything over 20. So just know that show, it's going to be one where you can stock up. Again, this one right here, great wines for Thanksgiving next week. So tune on in. Also, let's do a little quick recap and get you off.
Questions too, as Danny recaps, but this is a good time. Please chime in. I mean, we've had some comments, questions. Vanna, have you had any extra questions on your side that anybody asked about anything?
No, nobody's really asked a lot of questions.
Well, if you guys have anything, ask me. Well, Danny, go ahead and a little recap.
A little recap on this. We started with the Gnarly Head 1924 Scotch aged Chardonnay.
Room temp, guys. I'm going back. We're going back to this. I'm going to go back to this wine here in a second. Yeah. That is just fun wine. That is like baked apples. I mean, just like cinnamon, a little baking spice, guys. Fun little wine.
Little granny apple.
Just
enough.
A little of that pie crust in the back end, but that is a fun wine for the holiday. I think Vanna said it right. That is a sit by the campfire white wine.
TC, what you don't know is Tanya made a little apple crisp, so we're probably going to get a little of that. We're probably going to get a little of the apple crisp with that wine, and we're gonna finish a little bit of that. And then we went over again, staying with the 1924 Gnarly Head Cabernet, and this was the one I was excited about because it just drank so good. Really cool Prohibition style bottle. Again, these two wines are all about a throwback to the Roaring 20s, and guess what? We're in a Roaring 20s. Yep. So these deal value wines tonight down to 16 plus your wine club discount.
How long did you keep saying that? People are going to have Roaring 20s party. That's
Roaring 20s. So, and then we went to the Exodus Bourbon Barrel Red Blend. Folks, this has some of my favorite grapes, including Zinfandel and Petit Verdot and Syrah inside it. And I think you're going to love that wine. If you haven't had it, if you had, this is a great time to get some more bottles at $20 a bottle. What a great deal. And then we went into the Southern Belle, again, done by R Wines. Dan Phillips is the winemaker. And these are done in Pappy VanWinkle Bourbon Barrels. And I'm telling you right now, for $20 to get a wine done in Pappy VanWinkle Bourbon Barrels, grab it. Grab it, bring it out at Thanksgiving. Your friends around the table are going to think you spent a lot more than $20 for this wine. Yeah. And if you're in the wine club, you're going to pay a lot less than $20. So go ahead and put your discounts in. Again, if you're in the Cellar Club, put Cellar in the coupon code. Estate, if you're in the Estate Club. Reserve, if you're in the Reserve Club, or Grand Reserve Club. And then we also just finished up with that Poor Thing Grenache. Two great Spanish wines that we finished with. Folks, take advantage of these prices because they are really, really good for bourbon barrel wines.
I'm telling you what, I had a ribeye last night for father-in-law's birthday, 75th actually. A big shout out. I'm sure it's maybe past his bedtime. He's probably not even watching right now.
No, you can go back and watch later.
I know, yeah. Bill, we love you. So just kidding. So he probably never see this, but anyway. But this right here would have been a perfect wine. I mean, I know we always think Cabernet and steak. I know we're probably chock full of Cabernet, but guess what, guys? This is something that when we do have steak, break this out. Save your Cabernet from Napa that you spent $125 for. because you can open up 3 to 4 bottles of this. I don't know, 5 bottles. I failed math. But anyway, that's why I sell wine for a living. But anyway, guys, this Grenache, the tannins, as Danny said, are there. And again, that bourbon barrel is just that just the hint in the background, not overdone. And if you have any bourbon fans, I've done this in holiday expos at country clubs, and I've had people come up to me directly and say, you know what, I'm here because my wife loves wine. I had about 3 bourbons before I came, but we buy cases of this because I love Pappy or whatever else and things like that. I'm like, well, now you can buy it right here. And that's actually the one wine they'll buy. So for the person in your life that only drinks, whiskeys and bourbons, you say, hey guys, I got some Pappy VanWinkle red wine. First of all, they're going to drink it with you. And then after about half the bottle, I don't know if it's the alcohol talking, but they're like, you know what, damn it, I normally don't drink wine, but when I do, they're gonna be like the most interesting man.
When I do, it's gonna have Pappy
VanWinkle
Bourbon Barrels.
But anyway, guys, thank y'all so much. This is a fun show. I think the proof is in the pudding. We can show you guys tonight that even though, like anything that's new, there's quick buck artists that come and go. Do your own test analysis. I would put the Pepsi Challenge against anything in the market with any of these wines. Honestly, guys, I know there's lots of them out there.
We've done very well with several others, but this is the cream of the crop that we've done in the shop. I guarantee if we go back and look at the cases sold, 3 of these are wines.
Well, Southern Bell's on your order like default. It's like default. It's like on your order every week.
It is. It is. It is on the order. Like, oh, we're at Southern Bell again.
Southern Bell. Yeah.
Let me go get it. Minus. I'll throw out some other names and some stuff. The barrel bomb that we've had in the shop, which is very close to Cooper and Thief. We've had Cooper and Thief in the shop. The problem is because of the percentage of alcohol, if Ailey walked in, I can't serve it by the glass, and I'm afraid someone's going to uncork it and drink it. But the
man's always coming down.
Man's going to come down on you and kick us out. So that's why we don't tend to keep Cooper and Thief in the. But we use the barrel bomb, and it is excellent, and because it tastes just like. It's blind tasting on that would be very close, where I think half the time people would get it right and half the time the people get it wrong because they're really not sure and they're going to be guessing. So the barrel bomb does very well for us, and the Behringer Chardonnay only because it's different. But we haven't really carried that in a while.
But Scotch barrel aged Chardonnay. Even if you guys love that, want to come? Hey, I'm not saying buy one or the other. Buy both because one's bourbon barrel, one's Scotch. Bring them home. You do this. And what would that be? Under $20? I guess? It's
all under 20.
So
right at 20.
So you get 2 bottles under $40 right there. You'll like one, or maybe you like both. But hey, the funnest part is you open 2 bottles of wine, right? So
that's it.
It's a tasting. It's classy, right?
That's
why it's when people walk in on you and say, "Are you drinking 3 glasses of wine?" and say, "No, it's a tasting."
Classy.
It's a tasting and it's classy, damn it. So leave me alone.
It is classy. Also, a reminder while you're checking out, we only have very few spaces available for the Thanksgiving beer and wine dinner on November 12th and 19th, whatever day would work best for you. I will say the menu is absolutely delicious. We have fried dressing with a cranberry reduction that is just to die for.
Can I just go and say, Vanna and I was literally about to say that, and we're on right here.
Yeah, I know.
Danny, can you take a vacation and can we just have like Danny? See, that's what's happened. She's over here. Danny's going to be over here next week.
I'm going to be over there next week.
She's going to be over here next week.
She's going to be like, teach me how to use all these buttons, and then we'll get it.
Yeah. Well, Danny's a producer anyway. Danny has all the gizmos.
I'm the producer anyway. I don't need to be on
the gizmos and the buttons and anything. We'll have it back to
all
Danny.
the gizmos. We'll get all the gizmos, and I could just be like, hey, by the way.
Take a picture of that for everyone.
I really should, because this is quite a setup that I finally somewhat
like
gotten figured out. So I guarantee you, I feel like by next week, I feel like this week was the first time in 3 weeks where I wasn't overly frustrated. Now I know we had a couple of sound issues because I think what happens was if I switch to something without a mic. Now what I'll do now is this week I'll order an extra mic, and this way Mike would be over by Vanna, and this way she would have a mic when it's time to talk.
So just kidding.
Who's Mike? Oh. But so a lot of fun, a lot of great pairings with that dinner, including which I think everybody's gonna love, which is the pumpkin pie egg roll with fresh whipped cream. We're going to be doing a chocolate porter from England with that, and also a lovely port with that as well. So pretty excited about that because we're going to be at the Porterhouse on West Market Street, and therefore because they have a liquor license, I can serve a port. So normally in the wine shop we can't do that because we don't have a port license to do that, or a hard liquor license. So therefore anything above 16 we can't serve, but we will be serving an excellent port for you to go with that. I think people are going to love that pairing. So I also strongly encourage you to get tickets to that ASAP, because even
one's already sold out almost.
I mean,
right?
we got four left on the 12th and 16 left on the 19th. And I can tell you right now, probably by the end of this week, mid next week, I won't have any. I think on Monday.
Well, what happens?
If I'm talking to you about any spots, it's going to be like 4 or 2. I think that's really what's going to happen.
Yeah, people wait last minute, guys, and before, when we could do 40 plus people, that could happen, but that's why we're trying to break it up. One, to be safe distance. But honestly, I kind of like it this way because people, we can, have a nice group at one time and things like that. But again, as Danny said, it's limited, and sign up and text some of your friends. I mean, I feel like this. I feel like I don't know. I see some of these people almost only at these dinners.
No, they do.
I feel like
we do have some people that only come to dinners. I mean, they don't hang.
They do.
They love to come to the dinners. They know the value. They know the. Again, if you're not in the wine club, $60 for the dinner to get beer and wine and 5 small plates. And my brother-in-law doesn't know what a small plate is, so it's almost like a full plate. And then. I would also say getting beer and wine. Most people are paying $60, $75, $80, $100 for just wine, or they're paying $60 for just beer.
Yeah,
you're getting beer and wine.
And then
so
you hear these guys yap.
And you get to hear us yap about wine and beer. I mean, really.
There you
go. So that's a lot of fun. So and then again, next week we're going to be talking all about Burgundy wines for Thanksgiving. So gosh, there's just so much going on, and
stay tuned, guys.
Just threw out something to our wine club members. Could throw it. Did a little poll today on with some wine club members on doing a champagne tasting in the shop on a Sunday. So stay tuned. We're looking at some dates for that, and we'll be promoting that on the show. So if you're into Champagne, looking for Champagne, we're looking at probably one of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th Sunday of December. We'll have a date shortly, and we'll have 3 sittings. So there'll be 2-hour sittings. So you have a little bit of time. So if you want to order a little bottle, hang out for a little bit, we're not going to rush you out of there. So you have a little bit of time, but we will rush you out a little bit to switch groups. Because we can only fit so many people in the shop at one time, but a champagne tasting. So hopefully, if you're like into that, give me a thumbs up, give me the hearts. I look forward to knowing and letting you know about that.
Yeah, sounds great.
And we're looking at doing some high end bubbles too.
Get some large formats in there. I think I saw the other day some 1.5s, 3 liters come in there. So maybe a pre-order out there. We'll put on the sheet. But anyway, guys, thank y'all so much again for all the support, all the love. We just try to keep on bringing the good stuff to you guys every week. And I don't know. It's looking at the numbers, it's hard to believe any of you out there haven't voted. But if you haven't, grab a bottle. I don't know how the line will be. Try to vote early if you can. I don't know who votes on election day anymore, but
stop and see Andy over at the Loaded Grape tomorrow. Grab something to either cheer with or drown your sorrows in. Whatever preference you have.
Katie had to take off tomorrow for emotional distress.
Oh, I've been
as Napoleon says. As Napoleon said about champagne, he says, in victory I deserve it, in defeat I need it. So
there you go.
So that's very much apropos. And hey, hey. We got lots of wine. Be on the wine party, right?
I tell you,
be in the wine party.
Wine party always wins. So go get some wine from Andy tomorrow and watch those results come in and see if we have the same commander in chief or a new commander in chief. I mean, that's really what we're looking at. So go out and vote if you haven't. We look forward to seeing you next week while we enjoy some French wines and having Chloe with a French accent. Which is going to be so much fun because
understand a word she says.
Because TC doesn't have to do the French accent. We'll have somebody that actually has one.
Yes.
So,
we'll have her on. I mean, she'll be great. And speaking of, American, I mean, oldest American ally, right? Even older than England, right? I mean, the French, right? So, hey, Burgundy, you talk about like, I mean, and one thing I can say, Burgundy is expensive now. I love Burgundy, but God, Burgundy, I mean, pound for pound, probably the most expensive region in the world to grow wine. But on this show, guys, we're going to find some great sparkling, some white and some red, that quite frankly, I think everything that we're going to do is going to be like under 40, under 30-ish, 35 bucks. So whereas most Burgundy starts around that, guys. So make sure you tune in. Perfect turkey, ham, or for those of you Friendsgiving that, you know, go lamb, a little non-traditional, perfect for that as well. So anyway, thank you so much again, Vanna Vines. Any parting words? Can we get the camera on Vanna?
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Every time you say it, I have to like sit up. And
there we go. We'll get her closer. We'll get Vanna. We'll get Vanna closer next week. Maybe well, you know, we'll get her some flair in the background. Maybe next week. So
incredible shrinking woman. Do you remember that movie? Like,
I'm gonna order her an extra mic so she has a mic too. So that way she's on the extra mics.
So you guys can.
Because what end up happening is currently, because of how the cameras are set up, if I turn on her audio, you're gonna get an echo.
It's always something.
So we'll figure it out. Extra mics for Vanna Vines, but and I think her choice is definitely the Exodus this week. So
Exodus and actually, I mean, I like the 1924 too. There's that.
Yeah.
So,
Chardonnay and Grenache, guys, I think for me are two that I think are two really cool ones. Just because I think Danny's definitely going to say probably Exodus and Southern Belle. So I think we covered everything. But I really will say some really fun items there, though. But anyway, thank y'all so much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next week or in the shop.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.